You know what I like to do?
Talk into a microphone?
Yeah, and also get in on the action with sports
Have a big
interaction.
head.
Yeah. Wear bare feet in the freezing cold.
Be a dad.
Friggin' wear V-necks that are actually
It's not a V-neck, okay? Sports interaction. NHL, NBA, MLB, so much more. It's the friend I don't have, clearly. Crazy Odds, best live and play. Download the app in Ontario. You can use the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or you can head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN to get started. 19 plus, please play responsibly and get better friends.
Yell at the computer. He does that too.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this question, and we're going to go down the table. I'm going to start with Jesse. I'm going to go to Steve. I'm going to give you my opinion. Don't take too long with anybody. And then we're going to get CJ's expert opinion.
I wonder who Adam posed that to.
Rank in order of most likely to get moved. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. Start at least likely, go to most likely. So the least likely to get moved of the core four in order to the most likely. Should
we start with the two dummies and then?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you already outlined that. And you don't want any reasons, you just want the numbers.
Just give me the numbers.
And we're going least likely.
Least likely?
So one is John Tavares.
As most likely or least?
Least likely.
Steve, we're going to go least to most. And we're going to start with you and Jesse. And then we're going to go to me. And then we're going to ask the expert.
So are you starting with least?
Morgan Riley. No, not Morgan Riley. Core four.
One is John Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
Two is William Nylander. Three is Austin Matthews. Four is Mitch Marner.
Steve, your opinion.
That Jesse is stupid. Tavares, least likely. Matthews, second least likely. Nylander, I should make most likely just to piss off Jesse, but I'm going to say second most likely. And Marner, most likely.
And I'm going to say the exact same as you, Steve. So, CJ, give us your rank. Least likely to get moved to most likely to get moved.
Sadly, I agree with you two. And I'd like to take a different opinion, but I think it goes Tavares least likely. Of course, they can't move him without his consent.
And he won't consent. We know that. He said that.
He won't. And I don't think they're going to strong arm him any more than, sometimes teams make it uncomfortable, but I think he's here. Matthews next in terms of least likely, then Nylander, and I think Marner of the core four is the most likely to be traded.
Do you think any of the core four are open to it? Outside of Tavares, which we already know the answer to.
It depends how you interpret open to it. I think they're frustrated too.
Mm-hmm.
And
are they losing belief?
I don't know if they're losing belief, but they might be losing patience with the whole thing. I mean, I go back to Mitch Marner's quote before Game 4 of the series with Florida, where kind of unprompted he just mentioned tuning out the noise. Like, it still feels like he's blaming the media or the fans. I think it's hard for him to play here. It's not going out on a limb. 7 years, lives here / Muskoka year round, can't ever escape this. I don't think he wants to be traded. That's certainly not what I'm saying. Please don't radio me. But, if a trade came about, it might be time. It might be time.
Steve, you outlined all the contract situation with Mitch and Austin after July 1st. And I look at Mitch's contract situation and I say, why wouldn't they? He doesn't have any right for a trade until July 1st. So I don't think if they're going to move Mitch, I don't think you get to the point where the no movement clause kicks in.
Oh, you're right.
And
you're right.
He has to make that decision. No, if you're going to trade Mitch Marner, it has to happen on June 30th or earlier, because then who cares what he thinks? He has no contractual right in this situation. The Leafs can move him to anywhere. That's why I think there's along with the points that CJ is making about it looks like he's the odd man out.
Do you think that the Leafs could sell not moving one of the core four this summer to the fan base going into October?
No. I mean, maybe they might try.
They might have to.
Oof. No.
No? I mean, this is an organization who for sure has shown their willingness to make trades. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly was a Toronto Maple Leaf. But
very briefly.
Very, very briefly.
Made it very clear that was not going to be extended.
So he's not coming back?
No way.
Why do you think that is? Is it just the organization, the market? What, or is it all of it?
I think he loved, we saw the stuff with his grandma and his parents. And I think he loved the opportunity. I don't think he appreciated everything about being here. And look, there's been rumors since that trade happened that he's going back to St. Louis. I'm not saying that's happening, but like, I'm not saying it's anything Toronto did wrong. I just think he always approached this kind of as the end of the season, chance to win a cup, chance to play on another team. And then, he's also, I think he's not giving out discounts on the next contract.
Right. He can still make some serious money.
As he, it's his right.
So then,
but to me, reading between the lines, like he didn't even, usually guys kind of say, well, I'd love to stay here, but we'll have to see how it works out. He didn't even go that far. So I just think he knows he's going to July 1st.
So then, obviously we've got an Austin Matthews extension that can be signed July 1st. We also have a William Nylander extension that can be signed July 1st. People forget that. Talk about Austin all the time, but William's got the best value contract on the team.
Which instantly changes if he takes more.
Right. And CJ, you said yesterday on your show that of the potential players of those three guys that they could trade, Matthews, Marner, Nylander probably nets you the least because he's only got a year left. And he's
another notch below.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal talent, but he's not
older.
He's not. Yeah, and he's older too, older than those guys of the three. Obviously, Austin probably gets you the most. I think that's a pretty easy one to say. For Leaf fans and setting expectations, if Marner is the guy that goes, and I'm saying if, I at no point have said you need to trade Mitch Marner, you should trade Mitch Marner, so I don't get radioed here, but if Marner goes, are we talking about an equivalency package coming back? And what I mean by that is a player who's perhaps younger and earlier on in their development curve? Are we talking about multiple players? Are we talking about prospects and picks? Are we talking about everybody's freaking out about, well, what if it's 75 cents on the dollar? Forgetting the other side, which what if it's not? What does this look like? What would the organization even be looking for? What are they adding to this core?
You need another star back, I think.
And what kind of a star?
So, like, would it be more likely to look like the Kachuk-Huberdeau deal or the Eichel-Tuck deal?
Well, you'd rather Eichel-Tuck.
Of course.
Which also included other players and picks and things.
Yeah.
But I don't think the picks and things and this prospect that maybe kind of sort of could be something is what is valuable. It's the prime piece back has to be something that you're really comfortable in. And there's ways, look, it might be someone who objectively is a little worse than Mitch Marner. Maybe he's a little younger. Maybe he's a little cheaper. Maybe he just does something different that you feel is missing in the organization, but is also still at a star quality. If they don't get at least a star back, I don't even think you can think about it. This is the beauty, though. I don't think they've ever had these conversations until maybe now. It's like they haven't really, and as far as I know, canvassed the league to see what someone would pay for Mitch Marner. And when Kachuk went on the market last year, I don't think a lot of people thought the day that was happening he was going to end up in Florida. I never heard Huberdeau's name or Uyghur's name until it happened. Friday night in July. I was in Europe. I woke up in the morning. I was like, whoa.
I'm sure you were thrilled about that.
Well, I mean, I was mentally not that worried about it, but I was like, holy shit, that's a big trade. I mean, look, you can only do so much. Sometimes you have to go to bed or go on vacation or do something.
Well, Adam and I have told this story before, but we were baked the night Ryan O'Reilly got traded to the Leafs.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, there's nothing we can do about that.
Except enjoy it. We enjoyed it.
Text a few people, go, yeah, it'll be up in the morning.
I'm sure I told you this way back, but that crazy day, the June 29th with Stamkos signing and the Subban trade, I was taking a nap. Like I literally missed the whole thing.
And Hall. Yeah.
It was
I remember I was in
the
London.
afternoon. Like I literally woke up and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like I was negligent in my role as someone who's supposed to try to be getting this news.
It all happened in, I think, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah. And literally, I'm not kidding. I was napping the whole time. Like I had no idea.
Incredible.
And I don't even nap a lot. I just think I was burnt out at the end of the playoffs. It's a long road.
Adam and I were burnt out too.
Yeah. Get this. So Marner is owed $16 million and a little bit more in actual dollars, even if you pay the signing bonus for the next 2 years. So he's an $8 million player per year by actual salary, which is valuable. I mean, obviously, lots of teams have cap space concerns, but there are some that are worried about the actual dollars that get transferred to his bank account.
Of course.
Every, twice a month. So I think he would be a pretty valuable piece, but I mean, who's to know? People love Mitch Marner, as they should.
Yeah.
He does everything. He plays among the most minutes in the league at his position.
Selke nominee. Was their MVP this year?
Puts up massive points. And I think if you're looking at his situation from afar, you're probably going like, let's get that guy out of Toronto and let him play.
Yeah.
Because like it's pretty clear. I think we've all observed, like, if he can just be free and easy, if he can just be living his life and not be in his head too much,
He's amazing.
Easier said than done. Like there's not the number of people better than him is pretty small. Yeah. And so I think he stands to gain the most, quite honestly, if the Leafs dealt him. I think it could just change his life. And this place is a nut house. It's a friggin' nut house. And we love it. And we live here. And we're part of the nuttiness.
Oh, I'm thrilled about it.
It's the middle of May and we're just here.
Join the party.
We could just keep the cameras rolling for 4 hours. We could just keep talking about everything. And someone out there would listen. Like, that's the amazing thing. Like, this is what I love about being around a team where people care. But like, it's a lot if you're playing here and if your family lives here and all that stuff. So
by all indications, though, it doesn't seem like he believes that if he left, everything would be better. And like, you think about things like the All-Star game coming up in Toronto and how much he probably wants to be a part of that and be on the team and represent the city and the organization in his hometown. And I just don't think he believes like, if I move to a different team, it'd be better for me. But from the outside looking in, I think we would all make that decision for him.
Right. Well, if you're in it, you can't think that way, right?
Yeah.
The minute you like play for a team or work for a company and you start thinking, oh, I'd be better at that company. Like, I just think once your mind goes somewhere else, it's hard to put that genie back in the bottle. So I get, like, he's all in on being a Maple Leaf. As he said, even he reiterated recently, like, this has been his whole lifelong dream. Like, I get that it would probably be crushing, but it doesn't, sometimes, as we all know in our life, like, sometimes what you don't want is the best thing for you. Mm-hmm. And so that there's a possibility that it's funny you bring up the All-Star game. So I was just in that arena called now FLA Live Arena, that arena in just the middle of nowhere, kind of near the Sawgrass Mall in Florida.
Kodak Black's place.
Yes, the house that Kodak built. And but I was in the press conference room and I had a flashback because I was there, obviously, and the Leafs are going down 0-3. And I was like, last time I was in here, it was like Shanahan and Marner up on a stage announcing the Toronto All-Star game. And I'm like, it's just so, anyway, so weird. I don't know why my brain's going there.